Welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to show you how to pour and finish a concrete driveway extension with Broom Finish. Please stay tuned and continue watching until the end because we're going to show you the entire detailed process. If you want to learn how to increase the value of your house by doing all kinds of handyman projects, then you're in the best place here on YouTube, since that's all we do here at Frank's Handyman Service. Consider subscribing and activate the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any future videos that we'll be uploading. Right here we have approximately 20 lineal feet of 4-foot wide concrete driveway extension that we're pouring today. We're utilizing this wheelbarrow because it's pretty easily accessible, and then as soon as we pour the concrete, we start moving everything around and floating it along the edges. Once you do that, then we run this Screed board. It's a little more than 4 feet long, so that way we basically are dragging it across the surface from the existing concrete surface and also the forms that we have on the other side. And then immediately after we screed the concrete, we start running our bull float. That's that tool that you see right there that he just ran on the surface. And right there we're also starting to do the edging. So the edges, it's very important to also, utilize that tool so that way you get a nice clean edge all along the perimeter wherever it meets with the existing concrete, or along the form board on the outer edge. So this job, it's pretty small project. This one anyone can do, especially for your house to extend. The reason why we're doing this is because the homeowner, they had their driveway narrow enough for just a car, and so when they would step out of the car, they would land on the dirt or the grass. So they decided to extend this area so that way when they open up their door, they can walk on a nice clean concrete pad. So, and this definitely, it's something that if you do, it's gonna increase the value of your house because people are gonna see that, that you have a nice, they call it like in Spanish, like a commodity, something that it just makes things more comfortable. So that tool right there, that's our trowel. We typically run the trowel after we floated everything. This helps us to further even out the surface, seal it up, and just gives us a really nice, troweled surface. And so once we give that a few tries, then we go ahead and just float all of the edges. Once again, make sure that we have everything nice. And then we also starting to open up the joint. We have that joiner right there. So we're basically following the existing joint that's on the concrete. We always want to keep the same similar pattern. So that's what we just did right there. And we're also opening up this other joint over here. There was like a cracked area. So we basically broke up the entire space like in 3 different sections, just following the same slope. And then we're gonna be running the same tools over the concrete. Right here we're giving it another pass with the trowel, the finishing trowel tool right there. Just making sure we're getting the concrete as ready as possible. And then after that, we're just gonna float the entire surface one more time. And this is where we're starting to even everything out further. And we're noticing if there's any low spots or if there's any areas that are a little bit high. This is the perfect time where you can manipulate the concrete and just scrape it wherever needed, move it around. Just get a nice float. once you give it a float, it's gonna roughen up the surface like you see right there. That's not a problem. This is something that's very typical. We always run the float, the hand float. And then after that, you wanna give it another pass with your edging tool. And all of that will make sure that you have a really nice clean edge and a nice clean surface. And this will make your job easier too, because since we already created that indentation with the edger and the joints and all that, then after that it's just a matter of giving it another pass over the same joint that we already created. So it just makes your job a lot easier. And it, like right there, you see the joint is starting to look really nice and clean. And as the concrete is drying, you're gonna notice that once you go through with the tools, it's just gonna be more firm basically. So then we're gonna give it another go around. I would say 2 to 3 times for the edging work, and then another same thing with the joiner. So, and then once you do that, then at the very end we're gonna give it a nice go around with the trowel. So, and then after the trowel, then we're gonna be applying the broom finish. For a driveway or a driveway extension, we typically recommend to do like a broom finish, especially if it's on a slope like this, because it just creates a lot more traction. It's easy to maintain and it lasts the longest. So right here, he's pulling the cream at the surface, moving it around, because one thing that you'll notice as you're running this edger tool, you'll see like if there's any like little dips or something. So that's where he gets the cream, you see right there, and then he just moves it around and just makes sure that the edging and everything is as even, as smooth as possible. So that's how everything looks so far. After we ran the edging tool one more time, you can see everything is looking really nice and evened out. And then after that, there's that trowel tool that I mentioned. So we're just gonna go another time right there, and we're almost gonna be ready to apply the broom finish here pretty soon. After we do this right here, then we're gonna be able to run the broom finish across. And I mean, that's how easy it is. It's pretty straightforward. This is something that anybody can do, and we literally did this like in 3 to 4 hours, the entire process. Pouring it with the wheelbarrow, evening it, everything out, screeding the concrete, running the bull float, hand floating all of the edges and all the areas. And we just waited until the concrete dries little by little throughout those 3 to 4 hours. And in the meantime, we're just working it as it allows us. So, and that's the nice thing about concrete. A lot of people get intimidated by it, but it's actually pretty easy to work with, and it lends itself. And so right here, we're getting the broom ready. We have that nice long broom. And so right there, we're brooming all of the edges, so that way you get the texture also on the edger. And then from there, we just start brooming it across. We just start sweeping it like you see right there, from the edge all the way in. And this right here, we're mainly doing this so that way we get on the edges. We want to make sure that we get a consistent texture, not only on the surface, but also on the outer edge and on the interior edge. So that's what you'll want to do. And this kind of little details, this will make sure that you get a nice quality presentation. This is really great workmanship. So once you did all the edging there with the broom, then you just run it all the way across from one end all the way to the other. That way you get a nice consistent texture that's even all the way through the surface. So, and then again, we're just gonna do the rest right there, running the broom around the edge. You see how right there it makes that nice texture along all of that areas. And then from there, we just broom it across. You'll want to try to just give it one swipe, try not to stop in between or before the end, because then it's not going to look consistent, you know. So the nice thing about this is you can give it a couple times just to make sure until you get it where you want it. And this is the results right there. You see how beautiful that looks? Nice texture, even broom finish from one end all the way to the other. And that's pretty much the results of how you pour and finish a concrete driveway extension with broom finish. We're just going to be putting caution tape around the area because, believe it or not, people still drive through it and do, you know, they mess with our concrete. So this will help us kind of protect it a little bit. And we're just going to come back the following day, clean everything up, and we'll get it done. So we hope you like this video. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Activate the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any future videos that we'll be uploading in the future. May God bless you, and we'll see you on the next one.